streaming live across the country, tackling the topics everyone is talking about online. Share, engage, and interact. This is Newsfeed Now.
Good Tuesday morning. I missed y'all yesterday. I'm sorry, but I promised I'd be back. Thanks so much for joining us for Newsfeed Now. I'm your host, Hillary Hunt. And as you know, we have been talking about all the top trending stories every single day. And today that includes the debate on a child tax credit and a boy who saved his family and his home from a fire. And what about a community who came together to celebrate a kid who isn't able to have a normal birthday party? We've got a lot going on, but of course, we want to start on Capitol Hill. Our top trending story comes out of our nation's capital. Parents across the country will soon receive monthly checks to help cover the cost of living during this pandemic and beyond. Washington correspondent Jesse Teneur has more on the debate over one key part of the latest COVID relief bill.
The real historic moment is in the passage of the child tax credit.
House Democrats are ready to pass President Biden's American Rescue Plan to help millions of families struggling through the pandemic. But Connecticut Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro says the bill goes even further.
Millions of children will be lifted out of poverty with the stroke of a pen.
The plan temporarily raises the child tax credit to send parents $3,600 total a year per child under the age of 6 and $3,000 per child between 6 and 17 years old. Those amounts go to couples making less than $150,000 a year or $75,000 for single parents. The monthly checks should begin in July.
I mean, just think about that. Half of the children in our country who are living in poverty won't be.
But opponents warn the change will discourage unemployed parents from trying to find a job. Republicans tried to include an alternative that tied the benefit to work. Illinois Congressman Rodney Davis says they've been left out of the entire process.
It's disappointing because there are things that we could have done to address many issues that Republicans care about.
As the House prepares to send the nearly $2 trillion bill to President Biden, Davis worries states still haven't spent about $1 trillion Congress previously approved, and he wants accountability.
To make sure that the dollars that we appropriated in a bipartisan way in November and December are getting spent.
Jesse Teneur now joining us from Washington, D.C. Jesse, a lot of people watching this, a lot of parents right now expressing their frustration. They're struggling right now. They have kids and they still got to help them out during this pandemic. A lot of people not getting a paycheck.
Yeah, exactly. And so this really goes on top even, sorry, my dog just joined me on the couch. This even goes on top of the unemployment benefits that we've been talking about recently, the stimulus checks. And so, I mean, depending on how many kids some families have, this could mean, you know, hundreds, if not thousands of extra dollars a month. And so that's why Democrats have really made this one of their key priorities. And it's been something that they've really wanted to pass for quite some time. So they were able, through negotiations, to get this in the COVID bill. And even though it's temporary, they are hoping to make it eventually permanent. But there's, of course, pushback from Republicans on that as well.
Yeah, and if you're looking at your screen, you see those tax credits right now and how everything breaks down if that actually happens. And Jesse, a big day on Capitol Hill, too. It's Tuesday, the day that it is in front of the House. A lot of people wondering, are those stimulus checks coming to our account? Could today be the day where they make that decision?
Yeah, today will definitely give some indication of that. And so right now we thought that today was going to be the day for sure that the House was even going to vote on it. But as of right now, what we're hearing from Speaker Pelosi is just procedurally, the House has yet to receive the actual paper of the bill from the Senate. And so a vote could happen by tonight at the earliest, tomorrow morning at the latest. And so what we're hearing from the White House is essentially as soon as the House passes it, President Biden's prepared to sign it, and then within the next 2 weeks, that's when they should be able to process stimulus checks and send them out. And so if people already have their accounts set up, if they've already received that money before, it should be a pretty easy process, which should mean that that new money would be in their account by the end of the month.
Perfect. And Jesse, on a lighter note, before we go, we are being asked to see your dog. She has a Havanese, guys, and his name is Louie. So we're going to show him off for a second just to get your Tuesday right. Look at that Havanese.
I've never had him crash my shop before, and we're like a year into this. So.
A year into it, and he wanted a little FaceTime. What a cute dog. Jesse Teneur out of Washington, D.C. Jesse, thanks so much. And thanks, Louie. That just made our day. But let's talk about the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. The latest here as more states and cities begin to loosen restrictions. There are concerns about doing too much too soon, and that begins with things like spring break and vacationers heading to that warmer weather. Ashley Ketz has a look at some popular travel spots that are bracing for the coming weeks.
The Sunshine State opened for business. Beaches busy, bars crowded, and very little social distancing.
Doesn't seem like there's a pandemic going on the beach right now.
In Fort Lauderdale, scenes like this, a crowded bar, no masks in sight. Pandemic fatigue vacationers flocking to Florida where there's no state mask mandate and no limits on outdoor seating capacity. The governor earlier this month basking in his state's success.
Welcome to our oasis of freedom. And while so many governors over the last year had kept locking people down, Florida lifted people up.
Florida's COVID fatality rate exactly in the middle of all states, and daily cases have been steadily declining since January. But health officials are warning the combination of spring break crowds who may feel invincible and more contagious variants could lead to a fourth wave in the pandemic.
We are in the eye of the hurricane right now. It appears that things are going very well. You can see blue skies. We've been through a terrible, terrible year. But what we know is about to come upon us is the situation with this B117 variant.
Many universities canceled spring break completely in an effort to keep students from bringing the virus back to campus. And many towns and businesses trying to thin the crowds. The Wharf, a popular night spot in Fort Lauderdale, posting on its Instagram that it will only serve out-of-state customers who are 23 years old and up. Panama City banning all alcohol on beaches and sidewalks for the month of March. And Miami Beach among the cities beefing up enforcement, breaking up large groups, and keeping a lid on festivities.
I don't know if anybody learned from last year's experience. We did, in the sense that we know younger people are going to not wear masks. I'm hoping they did, but I think a lot of younger people are feeling like they want to get out and go crazy, and we're trying to let them know, don't do that. Don't come here to do that.
We love Miami.
We out here.
I'm from Boston.
Oh, I'm from New York.
Yes, sir. 4 hours away.
Yeah, I'm from New York. Yeah, we out here.
Concerns not confined to the beach towns. In downtown Nashville over the weekend, warm weather, relaxed restrictions, and a newly opened shopping district drew huge crowds.
The lines to the bars are kind of outrageous. We didn't realize how packed it was going to be, so it's just nice to walk around and see how everything is.
Health officials are just hoping people will vacation responsibly, packing their sunscreen and their masks.
A lot of people forget, but we're still in a pandemic, but I understand people still trying to be out. We just wish everybody would just mask up.
We staying away from everybody else. That's pretty much it. We stay to us and we're okay.
Yeah, still got to be safe, even though some of those restrictions are loosening up now. Now in the Southeast, let's take a look at a story that's trending out of there. Police and wildlife officials in North Carolina are working to capture an animal after a woman was attacked by what she believes was a coyote on Saturday afternoon. Tyler Hardin spoke with that woman and has more on what actually happened. Take a look.
It was a very surreal moment.
A moment Allison will never forget. Her picnic at Lake Brant in Greensboro on Saturday interrupted by a wild animal.
It came up behind us very quietly and we didn't see it approaching. All of a sudden I saw the look on my friend's face and I turned around and it was right behind me.
Allison says she jumped up as the wild animal bit down on her arm.
The coyote just took a hold of my hand and was pulling it. It just kept biting me repeatedly, and so we quickly realized that we needed to get out of there somehow.
She rushed to the water, her fight to get away lasting what seemed to be more than 30 seconds. 13 bite marks on her hand and thigh by what she believes was a coyote.
It was kind of a grayish brown color. It looked like maybe like a medium-sized dog. My friend thought it was a fox at first, but I had seen pictures of coyotes, so in that moment I thought it was a coyote.
It's a wild animal common in North Carolina and one that left Allison having to get 14 shots of the rabies vaccine.
So it definitely taught me a lesson of I need to be more prepared. I didn't know if it would be better to fight back or to not antagonize it.
If you come across one, North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission recommends standing tall and being assertive. wave your arms, make loud noises, and throw objects at the animal. They say do not run away because it may trigger an instinct to chase. For Allison, she plans on staying home.
I think I'll stay away from the lake for a little bit.
Wild things happening in North Carolina. That's the state we're going to stick in right now because a car came crashing into a martial arts studio wall Saturday afternoon, narrowly missing those students. Thankfully, we are happy to report those students and staff are okay. But the owner of the studio spoke with Jamal Goss about what actually happened and how the rebuilding process is going. Check it out.
Dante Duffy is in jail after CMPD says he plowed into the Leadership Martial Arts building in Still Creek with a car. Police say he was driving while intoxicated the afternoon he smashed into the dojo.
You know, the guy was aggressive and caustic when he got out of the car. He was confrontational with myself and the other adults. It's good to know that he is in jail.
Derek Richardson is the owner, and today he met with contractors to get an idea of what needs to happen in order to reopen.
So we're going to remove some of the drywall that is not attached to the beams sufficiently. And once we remove that hanging drywall, there's no structural issues that will impede our ability to run classes.
Monday through Saturday, students learn the skill of martial arts, and normally the building will be filled with people on Saturdays. Thankfully, no one was hurt.
It's a miracle that none of us happened to be near the area where the car entered. That is an area where people are often congregate.
Well, I don't think we are fully orientated just yet, but since they had done a great job so far of letting us know what the leadership team will involve.
Tanya Mazinga was inside the building attending a leadership team orientation when Duffy came flying through the wall.
It definitely sounded like a bomb went off. I think we were all stunned.
She's now rallying behind the owner to help him open back up and helping pick up the pieces.
Really and truly at Leadership Martial Arts, we are a family, and we very much love supporting each other, and just the opportunity to get to support Sensei Derek during this kind of crazy time. It's just great to have the opportunity to be there for him as well, because he's always there for us.
And the owner plans to add more protection around the building to keep this from happening again. Meantime, damages are estimated to be at least $25,000. In Still Creek, I'm Jamal Goss, Fox 46.
Thank you, Jamal. We're going to move to the Midwest now, where police in Missouri are looking for some brazen crooks who swiped a 500-pound safe right out of someone's garage. They must be working out, Steve. I mean, that's a lot of weight. There's no questions asked, but a $5,000 reward for anyone who can return it. And it's what's inside of it is why they want it back. It's actually connected to American history. Pat Magani has this story.
Somebody knew it was there.
There's now a big empty space in Amanda Bouchon's garage where her safe used to be. And it's fair to say her faith in other people is also badly tattered.
This is horrible to say in today's world, but don't think everybody is your friend.
As these pics from a neighbor's surveillance camera show, at 3:30 a.m. yesterday, someone in a white SUV brazenly swiped the 500-pound safe after breaking into Amanda's husband's car to open the garage door.
So they picked the lock into it, they opened the garage, and like I said, they waited to see if anybody came out, and nobody, our lovely basset hound who hears everything did not hear anything that night, obviously.
To haul the safe into the SUV, and inside that safe, a treasure trove of rare coins, stamps, and keepsakes worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That was the furthest thing from my mind, is somebody coming in to steal a 500-pound safe that's, in your garage. It was hidden in the garage.
Also inside, loot from someone who rode with Jesse James and authenticated locks of hair from Alexander Hamilton and Jefferson Davis. And how much is that hair worth?
Right now, they're estimating over $100,000.
For each of them?
Each of them.
Tonight, Amanda's offering a $5,000 reward to anyone who can help find the culprits or recover the stolen safe.
Don't have to leave a name or anything, but you can definitely call the Gladstone Police Department, and they are very much aware of this as well.
Amanda and her husband had a security system installed and a Ring camera at the front entrance. In fact, only one part of the house was not under surveillance.
We didn't have cameras in the garage, but we're going to now.
Now let's take a look at a trending story out of Kansas, where a Wichita school is buzzing with babies. And no, they're not the students, at least not yet. But Alexis Padilla shows us they all have a very special connection. I like this one.
Washington Elementary School's hallways do not have the usual flow of kids, but they are seeing a boom in baby bumps.
What a year to be with child and also without children at the same time.
Hannah Evans Mendoza is one of not 2 or 3, but 8 expecting mothers.
I think one of these was one of the motions. I think she was starting to realize, like, oh man, this is happening. I'm gonna have no teachers in the spring.
One after the next, I was like, oh, okay, you too?
Due dates range from March to July. The group split evenly between new moms and veterans.
We can like pass down knowledge. Oh, you're about to go into this, and then we're like, oh yeah, and you are about to go into this.
Barbara Barrios shares her due date with a fellow para.
Are you really? I am too.
Pregnant in a pandemic is creating a one-of-a-kind bond for the Washington woman.
It's been a lot of help and encouragement and just support from each other.
The pregnancy pack bringing tons of joy during an unusual school year.
We have amazing coworkers who are just overjoyed to see all of these little bellies running around. They keep us well fed, they give us chocolate.
It just kind of adds a little positivity and excitement to the building during such a hard year.
And in this South, one young Texas boy is being hailed a hero this morning for saving his family and their home from an early morning fire. Jessica Rank walks us through that night and why one act by a 9-year-old changed the entire outcome of this event. Take a look.
9-year-old Ryder Patterson has always been good about helping around the house.
He does love family and love to be with us.
And one thing he never forgets to do, shut bedroom doors after leaving.
I'm used to the babies coming into my room and getting everything into anything.
It's become somewhat of a habit, but Thursday morning, this small gesture,
and I shut her door on the way out,
saved his family's home and lives.
He comes busting through the door and was like, "Mom, the house is on fire."
It was just after 1:30 a.m. when Ryder noticed smoke outside his bedroom.
As I'm coming through this bedroom door, you know, I look out this window and I could see the glow, like just see the glow of the flames.
The porch had caught fire.
Come in here to where it was most filled with smoke and the flames were starting to come up here through the bottom.
Half of the family ran outside.
Terror, fear, like, let's get it put out, you know, let's fix this. My babies are in here.
Ryder standing by his mom and stepdad fighting the blaze together.
There we started bucketing water to it.
When fire crews arrived, they were able to contain most of the damage to just one room. And that's because Ryder, just like he always does, shut his sister's door.
He said not only did he save your life, he saved the rest of your home.
He's just 9 years old, but the way he acted Thursday morning earned him a much bigger title than son.
I tell him every day he's my hero.
Today, Ryan Patterson is a hero. In Breckenridge, Jessica Rank, KRBC, Abilene's local news.
I got to say, what a smart kid. We have to bring in Jessica Rank from Abilene, Texas. And Jessica, you got a chance to sit down with Ryder. What a smart 9-year-old.
I know. I mean, he says that he was up at 1:30 in the morning watching TikTok, as a lot of, teenagers and young kids are doing nowadays. And he said it was just a habit to shut the door, and because his family always comes in. And can you imagine that actually saved the house?
Yeah, and I want you to talk about how just by shutting that door, something he says, because he doesn't want anyone else coming in, was really the saving moment for them and that saving grace.
Yeah, so firefighters say actually shutting the door kept that fire contained in that room and spread almost outside to the porch, so that way it wouldn't spread to the rest of the entire house. And even just walking through the house, as you can kind of see in that video, you don't really see much damage as in the entryway, the kitchen. You can see a little bit in the vents, but going into that room, it almost looks like a completely different house.
And it was more than just shutting the door. In your story, Ryder actually was helping his parents put out the fire until those firefighters got there. I mean, I just can't get over it. What a smart kid. Most 9-year-olds don't think like that, to step in and really help.
Can you believe that too? I was talking to the parents, and usually parents are supposed to be calm and kids, stand to the side and just kind of watch. And, the mother said, I couldn't even believe it, that my 9-year-old was helping out, and he was almost more calm than she was throughout the whole event.
Yeah, those parents definitely raised a good kid there. Jessica Rank joining us from Abilene, Texas. Jessica, thanks so much. And if that story didn't warm your heart enough, we've got something else before we go. Police and firefighters from across St. Louis came together to throw an amazing birthday parade for a 6-year-old girl who's been isolated from her friends because of a severe medical condition. We are in a pandemic. She was taking precautions. Michaela McGee shows us how this all came about.
Peyton is battling stage 4 cancer, and so she's not able to be around people to have a party or anything, and she's been going through a lot with chemotherapy and surgeries and everything.
Peyton was diagnosed with an aggressive form of cancer in the kidneys called neuroblastoma in July 2020. Since then, she has been through 6 rounds of chemo, a bone marrow transplant, and just finished her radiation therapy on Friday.
It's a hard pill to swallow, especially when you see a kid going through it.
Because of her condition, Peyton wasn't able to have a normal birthday. To her surprise, she got something much, much better.
I was actually coming up Florissant Road, and Chief Armstrong was directing traffic, and something in my head just told me to stop him and ask him about a parade, and he made it all happen.
It's beautiful to see all of these people come out. You know, like I said, I just met this family a few days ago, and this 6-year-old and everything that she's had to battle so far in her young life. Myself having a 6-year-old daughter, you know, I mean, it spoke to my heart.
I'm so excited that we have a police chief who cares about the residents. And Peyton, we love you, and that's why we're out here today.
Peyton was able to put the surgeries and treatments behind her and just enjoy being a 6-year-old kid, with the entire community celebrating her birthday and supporting her in her fight against cancer.
It's been a blessing to me to be able to work on this and to help, you know, man, put this together so she can have a memorable birthday, you know, despite all the challenges and everything that she's going through. You know, just showering her with love sometimes, man, is the greatest gift that we can give somebody.
That smile on her face, you really can't beat it. What an act of kindness there. Let's all do something nice for someone today. Thanks so much for watching Newsfeed Now. Don't forget, join us right back here tomorrow because you'll be halfway through the work week. We're going to start your Wednesday off right with a look at all the top trending stories. Have a great Tuesday, guys. Bye.